Okay, February 26th through February 28th in Charlotte, North Carolina is the Big Miracles Conference. The Big Miracles Conference, February 26th through February 28th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me make sure. I feel like the wrong image was in there because my girl Jasmine is also a part of this conference. You can see her there. Look at this lineup. My sister prophetess Cruz, Karma Reese, Bishop Ira Combs, Rochelle Mann, Bishop Mark House, Londell Cook, Pastor Cameron Adams, Brooklyn Hampton, Lady Jordan Adams, Pastor Tim Slaughter, Pastor Roger Green, and Jasmine Encarnacion. Y'all, February 26th through February 28th in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Big Miracles Conference, 3 days of prayer, prophetic impartation, and worship. We're coming together to believe God for something awesome. And I hope that you can be in the building. I hope that you can be in the building. If you can drive, fly, scoot, rent a mobile, and get to Charlotte, North Carolina, February 26th through 28th, I hope to see you there. I am one who believes that I'm licensed to believe God for big miracles because I've seen God do awesome things in my life and in the life of my family. And sometimes when you are in a space where you're having difficulty believing God for something awesome, it helps to be able to hear from or become aware of the miracles of others. And that's why today I'm so super excited to have my friend and brother, the maestro himself. I heard they call him Big City, but the maestro himself, all the way from Jackson, Michigan. Harold Perry is in the building, y'all. He's gonna share share about his miracle today. Harold, is my microphone okay?
Yes, it sure is.
It's loud and clear.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
because I was clowning earlier. I didn't have everything plugged in right, but I'm glad it's good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
You look well. You look well.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good, still recovering, but doing very well.
I'm gonna let you tell your story, but I can say that I remember watching it play out based upon what you were sharing online. Was that in 2000? Was it 2024?
2024.
Yeah, I remember watching it play out online, and then I remember, um, just kind of watching your testimony based upon what I could see from what you were sharing, and then to see you in person at convention. I just was like, God is so awesome, and he performs miracles in ways that we could not expect. I think
Yes.
I always say that we only sometimes we isolate God to the type of miracle that he will do. It is someone's on their deathbed. It is I need to make sure I'm not evicted, Lord. I need a miracle with this money to pay for something, but sometimes God also gives us the miracle of wisdom, of moving at a certain time, of making a phone call at a certain time, or going to the doctor at a certain time, or somebody, one of my friends had a miracle of him going to the hospital and he got some kind of x-ray, but the tech decided to x-ray him further than the x-ray called for, and they were able to discover something going on, and he was able to walk through a healing process. Otherwise it would have been crazy. So I wanted you to share your story, and I'm so glad that you're here because clearly we're looking at a living miracle. So walk us through it.
Right. Yes, indeed. You guys are really looking at a miracle. I am an aortic aneurysm survivor, and anyone that has seen anything with any type of aortic aneurysm, um, I shouldn't be here today. I shouldn't.
Hmm,
Even, we shouldn't even be having this conversation.
that is crazy. Explain that though, because I don't know if we know what that is.
Aortic aneurysm, as you know, our aortic line, our vein provides blood to your entire body. Everywhere in your body is your aorta line is the highway that provides blood to everywhere. And um, of course, I don't have a diagram, but it's shaped like a question mark in our body, and that would be what a normal that would what it be that's what it would look like normally. Mine was like
Okay.
a question mark with a whole bunch of squiggly lines.
Wow.
So if you imagine how the end of a question mark looks and they have a straight line down,
Yeah.
mine was just squiggly everywhere. So to take you back, this was Easter weekend, March of 2024. Actually, let me go back a little bit further to what led up to having that appointment that in which it was discovered. Um, how you see me now is not how I used to look. I used to be 365 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 365 pounds. I didn't start taking my weight seriously until right around about 2015. When you're younger, your body is forgiving in terms of what you take in. You can eat all the McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, whatever you want, and your body is kind of forgiving in that manner. I mean, you don't run into a lot of health issues. When you start hitting 30, your body starts shifting. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is. It just starts
Mhm.
shifting. So I started taking my health a little bit more seriously because I ended up having an emergency visit, and my blood pressure was like in the 180s, and they couldn't get it
And for
down.
those who don't know, walk us through what normal blood pressure is.
Wow, what is normal blood pressure?
It's not 180 though.
Yeah, it's not 180.
It's not 180.
It's definitely not 180. And the doctor at that point in time, he said, Mr. Perry, you got to get this weight off. You got to be serious about your health. He's like, do you know you can have a stroke? You can have a heart attack. These are all the things that accompany having high blood pressure. And so I really started to take it seriously, started, taking some medications. And in 2018, I decided to have a gastric sleeve surgery, and which was successful. I went in, I had to lose some weight prior to the surgery. So I went in having the surgery at like 325, and I got down to, I want to say maybe about 285, 270. Um, and right before COVID hit, I was probably sitting somewhere around 265.
Okay.
And still trying to eat healthy and that kind of thing. Of course, we all experienced COVID, and once we got through with that, of course, now we can fast forward to 2024, and as a result of having high blood pressure, you have to always get your kidneys checked. That's another thing. Your kidneys are highly affected when you have high blood pressure. You're making your kidneys work, and you can end up having going up to stage 4 kidney failure, meaning you'd have to get a kidney transplant. You have to end up going, on dialysis. So I was sitting at a stage, what I think is 3A is what they call it, 3A. So 3A is where your kidneys are still kind of functioning normal, but you're still creating a high level of creatine. And so at that point, you have to take medication to regulate your kidneys and basically eat right, make sure you're getting your water in so that you don't go to stage 3B and beyond, because 3B and beyond, then
Okay.
you kind of going into that area of kidney failure. So as a result, I have to get ultrasounds of my kidneys done every year. And so it was time to get it done. I purposely scheduled it early in the morning that day, to get in and get it done. I work from home. I do IT for a company, and so I have the opportunity to work from home. So I scheduled it early so I can get in and get out. So I arrived there, and all is going well. So I thought in the procedure, until the radiologist, she happened to find something that was getting ready to take me out of here. I had no symptoms, no nothing. Um, she went through the test and she had me wait. Normally, once it's done, you can leave, but she asked me to wait. And so I could see her, frantically making phone calls. Um, and lo and behold, she was calling my doctors. One of my doctors was outside of the country. I think they were in
Mm,
Africa somewhere,
mm,
but
mm,
she had
mm.
to call them to and have them look at and discuss what she saw. And so when she came out calmly. So I didn't think, well, okay. She's like, well, Mr. Perry, you're not going home. I said, what do you mean? You're gonna need to go to the emergency room. She said,
Wow.
I discovered you have an aneurysm. I said, aneurysm. Now, mind you, the only time I had only really heard of aneurysms was with brain aneurysms. I never, at that point, really never heard of an aortic aneurysm. And she said, "No, you're gonna need to go to emergency. You're gonna actually need to go immediately." She said, Did you drive yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah, I drove myself." And she said, "Well, the hospital is right across the street." She said, "So you need to go immediately to emergency." And she tried to explain the best she could in terms of what she was seeing in terms of the aneurysm. which wouldn't even scratch the surface of what she really saw. And so I immediately get in the car, get ready to go over to emergency. It's early in the morning, so my wife is still sleeping. So I'm like, okay, let me try and call her. Got the voicemail. I was like, okay, let me call my bishop, Bishop Ira Combs. And I called him. I said, this is what they're saying I need to do. And I'm going to the hospital. This is all the information I have right now. I don't know what's going on, but I just need to let somebody know, in town, hey, I'm going to the hospital to get this checked out. So I get to the hospital and now I'm getting nervous because at that point, normally you go into emergency, they want to take your information. You got to wait a few minutes to get
Mhm.
called back. None of that. As soon as I came in and gave them my name, oh, we're expecting you, Mr. Perry. Okay,
Wow.
we need you to immediately sit in this wheelchair. They immediately rolled me in. They put me on the bed. Literally, literally, I thought they was gonna have to cut my shirt, off or something. It's like, oh, get your shirt and stuff off. They immediately started going, putting IVs, getting my blood pressure checked, everything. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, well, she said, she found an aneurysm. And they're like, yeah, that's the information that we received. And we need to immediately get a CAT scan done. So they did the CAT scan and I still didn't have all the information other than what they told me. And the doctor finally comes in, and it's so funny. It's bad news, but the doctors are always so calm when they give you bad news. So he's like, "Well, yeah, Mr. Perry, we found an aneurysm, and first of all, do you know what an aortic aneurysm is?" Like, no. So he goes and draws the diagram of what the question mark, how it should look like a
Mhm.
question mark with the hook. He's like, this is what it should look like. This is what yours looks like. And he said, and right around this hook area, is actually started dissecting, meaning it had to start split. It started splitting away from my aorta line. It
What?
started splitting away already from my aorta line. And the
But
blood,
you had no symptoms.
I had no symptoms at all. They were baffled. They're like, "You don't feel anything?" I'm like, "No, I don't feel anything at all." He's like, "Well, the blood has been circumventing itself, running through the split to continue the flow, and the top portion of it, now, mind you, it's stretched all the way down through my abdomen.
Jesus.
So the top portion of it, which was on the little hook portion, which had already started dissecting and had started splitting away, was 7.6 centimeters, which is huge for an aneurysm. They only see them that size, in older people. Not at that time I was 45. A
Mhm.
45-year-old, they don't see that. It was that size and was that close to rupturing. And to put it into perspective, he said, Mr. Perry, we don't even want you to move at this point because it's that you're in that much of a danger zone. And have this ruptured anywhere else, you would not have been able to get to a
Mm.
hospital quick enough to live.
Jesus. Lord have mercy.
So um at that point, I'm like mind blown. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, no, I'm very serious. He said, I'm serious. He said, we're going to have to do an emergency stent. So all that time, at that point in time, I'm making phone calls, calling. I called Bishop back. I'm like, okay, they got to do an emergency stent. They want to do this, and it's so funny. I was still in Jackson at the time. He told me to get out of Jackson and get to Detroit, get to specialists that really know what
Mhm.
they're doing in that. He said,
Mhm.
no, you need to get to U of M or you need to get to Detroit.
And
Period.
there was no time.
And there was no time. And So they had the doctors, they were talking with the doctors in Detroit. And at that point, we ran into a roadblock because of the type of surgery that I would have had to have, because they would have had to do a stent. The type of anesthesiologist that they needed was not available in Jackson.
Mm.
So I would
And
have
to put
had
it in
to,
perspective, those who are watching, Jackson is, in Michigan. It's a smaller city than Detroit or Ann Arbor, some of the other cities. University of Michigan is in Ann Arbor, much bigger hospital. Am I saying that right?
that is correct.
Yeah, okay.
And so they were like, well, we're going to have to wait for a anesthesiologist that specializes in, that works with these type of surgeries before we can do it. So By that time, my wife had got up to the hospital, and we're sitting there like, wait a minute, you're saying, okay, I can't move, I can't do this, and I gotta wait? No. So I was transported to Detroit, Henry Ford Hospital, Detroit. And uh, I ended up getting a stent put in. I had to get an emergency stent put in. So now, mind you, they still had the rest of the aneurysm that they had to do, but they
Mhm.
couldn't do that all in one surgery. They needed to address the dissection first. So they did the stent. I was in the hospital for about a week, and got out. And I was feeling like I was feeling before. I was feeling fine, and
And they
they're
hadn't
like,
done the aneurysm surgery at this point, solely the stent.
just the stent. They had
Mhm.
not done the repair, aneurysm repair. So they hadn't even done that. So, um, and that was going to be several months down the line. It was initially I was given a date of June, then it was given a date of August. So when you all saw me at convention, I still had that aneurysm. That was still in my body. That was still going on.
Jesus.
That was still going
Lord
on.
have in July of
So
2024
in July of
convention,
2024,
what city were we in? We were in St.
Baltimore.
You
Yeah.
still did not have the surgery.
No.
That's a miracle in itself.
Yeah. So, yep, I had only had the stent. So, and my energy, most people didn't know it. My energy was still only at like 60%,
Mm,
maybe
mm, mm.
70%. So everybody, Pastor Tim, Karma, they're like, okay, make sure you sit down, make sure because I just love to serve. That's just what I do. I love ministry.
Mhm.
And in that time, it was great that they were there to help me, because there was still some times where, okay, I may have to take a little break and just kind of just catch my breath. So it's a blessing when you have a team of people, because I didn't have to direct songs, I didn't have to do that. Kevin Stiles was there. I mean, it was great. And
Mhm.
at that point, they're like, okay, get somewhere and sit down. Okay, great, what you doing? All right, get somewhere and sit down. All right, you what? You want to direct? Oh, you gonna sing something?
Y
No, you make
No,
sure. Okay,
no.
how you feeling?
We
I'm
already letting you be
serious.
here.
So, we got through convention, and then the big date came, August 15th, and that was 11 and a half hour surgery.
Jesus.
Uh, they, they walked me through the surgery. Um,
Wow.
I had to have a drip in my back, two drips in my back. I thought that I was gonna be asleep when they put those drips in. I was wide awake
Mm,
and had to
mm-mm.
sit up and feel this big long needle go in my back. And they had to put the drips in, and to know, okay, you're going into the surgery. They always give you, well, you got this percentage that you may not be able to walk, because you could lose the activity of your lower extremities going into the surgery. So that was like the first thing. Like, no, as soon as I got to the hospital, I got checked in. They had to do the drip. That was probably some of the worst pain ever. I probably don't ever want to experience. So the surgery itself was 11 and a half hours. They had to
Mm.
cut me open from the side of my stomach all the way up the side of my left side of my body. Um, and They initially thought they were going to have to crack my ribs to go in to fix it.
Wow.
Luckily, they didn't have to. They didn't have to crack them. They were able to slide them and go in and do the repair. Um, and the repair itself, I basically have a totally new built aorta line, and I think it's pigskin,
Mhm.
that they use to rebuild it. And I was basically kind of in a self-induced, I guess, kind of coma for that first day. They didn't wake me up till the next day. And when I woke up, I'm wrapped up tight. I got tubes on both sides of my body. Um, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. and you self-reflect of what could have been, but God.
Yeah. It's I believe that God does everyday modern day miracles, and the miracle that, besides the fact, I mean, which clearly we are looking at you living, breathing, talking,
Yes.
that is a miracle. The fact that the tech discovered whatever they discovered the day that you went in for your procedure. The fact that they were telling you that you could not move because it was that severe, but there was still an opportunity to get you down to the other hospital. Just it seems like so many miracles along the way that God did. Like you said, they gave you the list of things that could happen, that could go wrong in this surgery. And when I saw you, at the convention, I knew that you had, some hospital scenario, but looking at you, never would have known that these were the things that had transpired. And so we say that cliche, I don't look like what I've been through. And you do not look like that. And I'm so grateful for what God did for you, and how, he I clearly positioned angels in those medical rooms. He clearly
Yes.
positioned angels
Absolutely.
in those medical rooms to walk through, you saying that they did not have to crack your ribs. I mean, you teaching me something today, but for them to have to crack
Yeah.
your ribs to fix the damage that you had, and they ended up not having to do that. So many miracles along this way, and just a reminder that there are miracles in the Bible, but God can do miracles in our lives today. And so I'm I when I tell you, I didn't know this whole story. Y'all, I'm telling you the truth. I only knew what, the different posts that he had made online. I had not really ever understood the full story. And to hear it now is just, it's breathtaking. It's just, I stand in awe of God just consistently.
And I'm still healing. I'm still completely. When you saw me even this past summer's convention in New Orleans, I'm still completely numb on my left side. I have no
Wow.
feeling from the middle of my stomach to the left hand side. It's still completely numb because they had to freeze the nerves and cut several of the nerves going into the surgery, and I may get feeling back or I may not get feeling back. I've gotten kind of have gotten used to it now.
Hmm.
But like I told my wife and I tell everybody, I'm like, you know what? That's minor to me. I'm like, I'm alive to not feel it. So I will take that any day, because you just hear so many countless stories. There was just another someone here, even here in Jackson, that passed away from this very thing. Just they had no symptoms at all, and just it's a silent killer is another nickname that they call it. And I was asked maybe a couple weeks ago, part of like kind of like a support group on through Facebook, and I was asked a question: Do you ever feel uh, guilty for surviving?
Wow. Wow.
Do you ever feel guilty for surviving because so many people don't make it, and yet here you are? And I sat back and you think about it, and it's like, no, there's God has a purpose for me to be here. He has a purpose for keeping me here, because he certainly could have let me, let he's could
Hmm.
have taken me out of here, but
Hmm.
there's a purpose and a reason. And so I'm gonna make good use of this extended time that I've been given. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm not gonna waste it on foolery. I'm not gonna waste it just on unnecessary things. It really changes your whole perspective on life when you basically, it's not like death was across the street. It was knocking on my
It
door,
was
peeping through the
sitting on your
window.
bedside. It was sitting right there.
And so at this point, it's like, you know what, Lord, I know you got a purpose, and and anything that that comes my way, I tell my testimony everywhere. I was like, you know what, yeah, you met your miracle for today.
Hmm.
And when I tell people, they're just in absolute shock, just as you were today. They're just like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, no, very serious.
Because what
You
they
know
were
what?
telling you basically was, even any sudden movement could have taken you out.
Yeah.
because the blood you said had dissect or the aorta had dissected.
Yep, it had already started dissecting and had already dissected. And like I said, not to have any symptoms at all. I'm going business as usual. I'm going to church. I'm at rehearsals. I'm going to concerts. We just living life, just going to the store, whatever. And to know that at any point in time that could have taken me out of here,
And
I'd
you
have been
had done
gone.
your this was a yearly check, so you had done what you thought was necessary. You had done the check, the ultrasound of the kidneys, you had done that. You
Yeah.
returning for another one. We on target. We doing our checks and
Yep,
we're
I'm
good to
just
go.
doing my
Yeah.
regular ultrasound, and she happened to find it. I mean, and the thing was, it wasn't even a spot that she really should have even been looking at. That's the crazy thing about it, Nietzsche.
See.
Is nowhere that she really should have even been looking.
Man.
That's the crazy thing. I'm like,
Angel
you know
number
what?
1. Angel number 1. Angel number 1. She was angel number 1.
That's the crazy thing in itself. It's like, oh, she shouldn't even been looking for that and found
Wow.
it.
I I I'm in awe. I'm in awe of God, and I love the phrase that you said when you run into people, you say to them, "Today you've met your miracle," because that is definitely who you are, and what a awesome testimony of God's keeping power, and yet another reminder of what God can do. If you are a person who is watching this video right now and you are, sometimes we can believe God for miracles for others. We've all had family members maybe who were in the hospital and we're petitioning God for a miracle. But when it comes to ourselves and we may need God to do something, sometimes our faith shrinks back. We have fear or fear of rejection or unworthiness. And I believe that God sends people like Harold and his story to remind us that God, even today in 2026, is
Yes.
doing modern day miracles. We hear that cliche, we talk about God's keeping power. And um, I think sometimes we say that because it sounds good to say, but the fact that God keeps us, that itself is a miracle. You
Amen.
know,
Absolutely.
it's not just a song. It's the truth. It's actually a miracle. And I'm praying that God will allow you to share your testimony with so many other people and those who have survived, who have survived this, those who have families. What would you say from a medical standpoint, a practical standpoint? What are things that we should be doing to keep a check on things like this,
Definitely. Number one, go get your physicals. You would not believe the amount of people that don't go to the doctor.
especially in our community
Yes,
and
they
especially
it's,
the males?
they don't want to know. And it's like, no, you should want to know. Get your physicals, get your blood work done, make sure that you're keeping up on your blood pressure. All those things play a part. And make sure, and it doesn't even hurt to even get a CAT scan done. Like, you know what? I want to make sure that everything is everything.
That's right.
And I am a advocate for going to the doctor. I mean, just this past September, I had stomach pains, and I went to the doctor. I'm like, you know what, something's going on because I just don't feel quite right. My gallbladder was infected. Nietzsche.
If you hadn't have went,
Listen,
if you hadn't
when
have
they
went,
went in, when they went in to look at my gallbladder, I had a hole in my gallbladder.
Jesus,
You can't make this stuff up. I wouldn't have believed that they didn't send me the video. I had a hole in my gallbladder. So they had to, of course
craziness.
they took it out, but just kind of just crazy stuff. Yeah, after
Again, the
that,
fact that you went
I
to the
went
doctor.
to the doctor. I
I
went to the doctor.
I think sometimes, Harold, that there's a miracle also in the inkling or the Holy Spirit speaking to us and telling us to get up and go or to move out of the way or to go here at a certain time. With you having that inkling to go to the doctor.
Yeah,
I
because
believe
at
there's
first I
miracle in
wasn't
that.
gonna go.
Yeah.
I was just having stomach pains and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I'm coming down with something. I took a couple of days off work and it just was not letting up at all. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? Let me go to the doctor and went to urgent care. And as soon as they pressed in on my stomach, I was like, screamed out. And he's like, that's your gallbladder. It's
Mm.
it's it's inflamed. He's like, you gotta go to the ER. And so I'm okay, all right, let me go to the ER. And that's when they said, well, we got to take it. But when they went in, let me tell, I mean, in fact, I'll tell you guys this: when they went in to take the gallbladder, like I said, if they didn't show me video, I would not have believed them. The video goes in, you don't even see my gallbladder. My gallbladder, it had already started protecting itself against what was going on. So it
Mm.
created a covering. So you couldn't see my gallbladder. All you could see was stuff oozing out of it. Once they got in there, then you could see the inflammation, you could see the hole in the gallbladder. And I'm just like, Lord, I thank you once again,
Once
and
again.
I'm once again, thank you, Lord, and I tell people, all the time, like, make sure if you're hearing something, go to the doctor,
Mhm.
get checked out. Please go get checked out. The worst thing you can do, you're doing your body a disservice by not making sure that it's healthy, not making sure, that you're on the up and up. We always say that we want to be fit for the kingdom of God. Well, this is how you be fit. Go to the doctor, get checked out. Make sure you need to know what your blood type is in case you ever may need a blood transfusion. These are all things that we should know. And that especially we in the Black community should know. You need to know those kind of things. So please, if anything else, get to the doctor.
Mhm. Before we go, what would you say to the person who has had some unique things happen back to back, some similar to maybe like what you described, and they've gotten to the place now where you're speaking from a place of victory, of what God did, of being a walking testimony. And I'm sure that every day did not feel like that. I'm sure you had some days where you wanted to throw a brick at the wall and find out, why did things happen the way that they did. But what would you say to the person who in this moment has gone through some unique things in life and is just feeling completely defeated? How do they change the course of that thought process to look to God for the things that he did do, his miracle working power?
I would say to them, if you find yourself struggling, um, the very first thing I can tell you, even when I was in the hospital, because no one likes being in the hospital, first of all, and you're sitting there and you're just contemplating life in itself. And while everybody else is out enjoying life, you're going through. Um, I will say just the power of prayer. I know it's cliche when we say, but just pray about it. No, really pray about it. It's in those times of isolation. I don't know what it is. In that time of isolation, you hear from God the clearest because you
Hmm.
have no other distractions. You
That's
have
true.
no other distractions at all. And you're at a point to where, okay, I can't rely on anybody else but God. My wife couldn't help me.
Money can't help
Bishop
this.
couldn't help me. Money couldn't help me.
Yeah.
Nothing. Only through the power of God, through the power of the Holy Spirit. And um, it's, like I said, it's not something I would like to experience again at all. I told the Lord, I said, Lord, thank you for this miracle. Thank you. I don't want
I
to
think we're good
revisit
though.
this road
I think we're
again.
good now.
But in that time is when you have no distractions, no nothing,
Hmm.
and you literally just pray and literally just have a conversation with God. And just, you know, there's no other way I could have made it out of that
Yeah.
at all. There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing else. I mean, there's just nothing at all. I mean, and some of those days, you're going to have those days of irritation when you feel like things is just not coming together or things is not moving. It's no fun sitting on the couch when you can't hardly move. You got to rely on other people to get stuff for you because you like, man, I want to get up and get it myself. And your body's saying, you ain't going nowhere.
Hmm.
And you literally just stuck. This very couch I'm sitting on, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh. You have no energy. I mean, it's just, those times are tough. Uh, but God will never leave you nor forsake you.
That's it right there.
And the very thing I kept repeating when once they woke me up and I was in the hospital, and my mother, everybody kind of flew in and just surrounded me with love, was, I shall not die but
But
live
live.
to declare the works of the Lord. I
Mhm.
shall not die but live to declare the works of the Lord.
Wow.
And I said that every day. I shall
Mhm.
not die but live every day.
I, you know, I pray that you get the opportunity to share this story with so many more people because um sometimes when we go through something unique, we will hide the details of it and but that's where God gets his glory in us sharing what he did and how we felt. And so I pray that you are blessed with the opportunity to share this story in even more spaces. And for those of you who are watching this right now, I just want you to type a one line prayer for our brother Harold. Just type something that you're declaring for healing in his body and what God will do in continued healing. We are believing God for that for you. And we're grateful for God gracing you with us as one of his modern day miracles. And so if you're watching this right now, I just want you to start typing in the comments. And if God has done something for you, I want you to start typing in the comments. Let's add some encouragement here. Harold, I'm grateful for you. And I'm blown away by your story. Blown away. Because I did not know this. Like I said before, I did not know. I just knew you had posted a few times. I knew Harold wasn't feeling well. We praying for him. He was in hospital, some kind of surgery, something happened. Didn't know the details or what have you. And so I thank you for even taking the time to walk me through it and those who are supporters walking us through it and just sharing with us yet again how God can do so many awesome things. I'm encouraged. If you are sitting in a place and you don't believe that God can do miracles, if you're feeling like your situation is too difficult, or sometimes we don't ask God for the miracle because we think it's too basic. We're like, this is too simple for you. We don't ask, we don't seek, or we don't have an example. This right here, as my phone is ringing, is an example of God's miracle working power. And so I'm just grateful that you took the time to share today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love you in the Lord, bro, and Imma see you at convention. And where we going? Where we going?
Cincinnati.
Indianapolis.
Yep. No, did I say Cincinnati?
I don't know.
Indianapolis. Lord have mercy. Cincinnati. We're in
That
Indianapolis.
okay, that
Sorry,
was like a
y'all.
few years ago.
Yeah. Indianapolis.
We're going to hometown, hometown. It's gonna be a good I'm
Yep.
looking forward to seeing
Indianapolis.
you there if I don't see you before then. And thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Love you.
Love you too. Yeah, were you not blessed by that? Were you not blessed? I just need y'all to start typing in the comments if you were blessed by what our brother shared today. Just such an awesome, 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 very clear vision of God's miracle working power. And I want you all to continue, if you end up watching this on the replay, to type some amazing and encouraging words for our brother. We're believing God to just continue to heal him and continue to walk through this. If you want to be in a room of believers who are believing God for something awesome. This February 26th through February 28th. I'm talking about this February. We're in February 26th through February 28th. If you want to be in the room where we are standing together, believing God for something awesome, join us in Charlotte, North Carolina, February 26th through February 28th, 3 days of prayer and prophetic impartation. Y'all, we believe God for miracles, okay? We declare miracles. We believe God for it. We trust God for it. We've seen it in our lives. And so if you want to be in that room, meet us there. Intercessors, prayer warriors, prophets, worshipers, psalmists, minstrels. Be in the room February 26th through February 28th, Charlotte, North Carolina. All the information on how you can register is in the description of this video. You can go to onthealtar.org, click on any of the links there for hotel, for registration, for the full schedule. God bless you all, and I look forward to seeing you soon.